In the latest chapter of One Piece, chapter 1007, the chapter is very Chopper ooh-woo focused. But he does put in some work. I will give Chopper that. He saves the lads from the Queen's Plague.
Oh my god.
And then we have that pop him. So Chopper put against some Miles, he gets the W from me, and it was overall very funny, good chapter for Chopper. That being said, Chopper for me still gets the middle finger. This is blocked, right, Austin?
Yes!
Okay. Okay, cool. The reason why is because at the end of the damn day, Chopper is still just merchandise. He is the merch master of One Piece. Though to be fair, even in merchandise form, he did block an attack. That surprised me. Yes, I'm calling it merchandise form for a reason. I'm not seeing reindeer mode Chopper or kung fu point Chopper or monster form point Chopper make sales. It's always merch ooh form. Now that all being said, what caught my attention the most in this chapter, after reading the chapter 2 or 3 times, was the comments about Dr. Vegapunk and the artificial devil fruit that Momonosuke ate. These I think are very important for Momonosuke, for Vegapunk, and potentially the story as a whole, depending on how you want to gauge these things. So I'm going to get into it step by step, piece by piece. First of all, let me read to you exactly what it said in the Viz translation of the chapter. Speaking of Kaido, back in the days when the Navy had him held captive, Vegapunk extracted Kaido's bloodline elements and used them to create an artificial devil fruit. The government demanded that he give them the fruit, but he was never happy with the results and considered it a failure. He had it stored at Punk Hazard ever since then. Why are you bringing that up now? Punk Hazard was demolished in that explosion. Well, let's hope the fruit got blown up when that happened. But according to G5's report, one of the labs there was still functioning at the time. I was just thinking to myself, thank goodness it was only a failure. Now the scanlations are very similar, but in their case, they call the bloodline elements the lineage factor. Essentially, it's just DNA. It's all just DNA, number one. And then the last comment that this guy, let's say the head of CP0, what he makes is, I was just thinking it's fortunate that the experiment was a failure. That's all. So essentially the same thing is being said here from scanlation to Viz translation. Now, the reason why I think it's very important to go over this is I'm not too sure at this point in time if Momo's devil fruit is actually a failure. What exactly makes this devil fruit a failure in Vegapunk's mind? So we do know that Momonosuke can transform into a dragon, but he can't really control when. It seems that he is transforming into a dragon when he's very emotional, or when he's scared, like random moments essentially. The second thing is Momo, he can make the flame clouds like Kaido, but they're different in design or different in structure. The flame clouds that Momonosuke makes are more like Dragon Ball Z Nimbus clouds, whereas Kaido's clouds look like genuine fire. Like, let's assume that the fire rings that see on Kaido's arms are flame clouds that keep him levitated. And then we also see with Onigashima, those giant long flaming streaks. They look more like fire rather than actual clouds. Then Kaido, when he transforms, he is titanic in size. He is huge. But when Momo transforms, given the size comparison of Momo and Kaido, Momo should be a lot bigger. A lot bigger. Not as big as Kaido, but significantly bigger. But when he does transform, he's longer than Luffy or I think Yamato. So he's long, but he's nowhere even close to size of someone like Kaido. And another thing to have noticed about Momonosuke is that Momo at this point in time has not shown any ability or any sort of perception of the elements. So wind, lightning, fire, like a flame, nothing. Momonosuke just transforms. And then one time we saw him produce the flame nimbus clouds, and that's it. However, what's very important, I think, to note is Momonosuke is very, very young. All the things I mentioned before about his size disparity compared to Kaido, no elemental control just yet, the shape difference of his clouds compared to Kaido's clouds, all these things could simply be age related and experience related. Because he just got the fruit in Punk Hazard, and because he's very young, he probably can't utilize these things to even a fraction of what Kaido can do. Consider Luffy when he first had the Gum Gum no Mi when he was very young. He sucked at it. He was terrible. And it could be the same thing here, which would explain, let's say, for example, someone like Sabo, where Sabo, much older, he got the Mare no Mi instantly and can use the Hiken right then and there. Older, more combat experience, these things do matter. The same can apply for Kaku or for Caulifla. They got their fruits during that arc, during CP9 and Ace Lobby, and they could use their abilities effectively, albeit with some hiccups. Their combat experience, their age, makes them more adaptable to gaining new power. Very simple. However, because of CP0's comments, I think it's very, very clear now that Momonosuke is going to play a role in some way, shape, or form while he's in dragon form. What role exactly, I'm not too sure. People's bet at this point in time is him controlling, moving Onigashima by controlling Kaido's own flame clouds and or making his own flame clouds. To me, it's kind of crazy because Momonosuke is so young, I don't see how he could control Kaido's own flame clouds. There was one theory that one of my tier 3s made about how he could actually make his own flame clouds. And so if the island does fall, then there'll be a cushion on the island where it'll be Momo's flame clouds. But again, Momo's so young, it's like, how could he produce enough flame clouds to cushion an entire island falling? So it gets wonky. It gets really wonky on Momo and the flame cloud stuff. But again, this guy's comments, I think, are strongly insinuating that Momo's gonna play a role somehow, some way, because he has the ability of Kaido. And because now we see that the island, Onigashima, is closer to the mainland, because we see the mountain, the weird Mount Fuji, we see it in the distance, it's more likely now that, yeah, Momo's role is gonna wind up saving a lot of folks. Whatever he's gonna do, he's gonna save a lot of people. Now back to Vegapunk. Something in my gut, and it's a pretty big gut, so I trust it a lot. I trust it a lot. So you know we eating good. Something in my gut is telling me the reason why Vegapunk was unhappy with the results was probably because of the design of the fruit itself. That sounds kind of crazy. But again, a lot of things, just hold on, okay, real quick. A lot of things that Momo hasn't shown just yet can be because of age. It can be that simple. Age and experience. If that's the case, why is it a failure to begin with? It could be because, simply put, of the design of the fruit itself. Every fruit that we see in the series, in terms of the pattern of the fruit, it has swirls. Like the German kid's eyebrows, they all swirl. So every fruit pattern swirls. And for Vegapunk's fruit, on the actual fruit itself, they're spots rather than swirls. The stem swirls, but the design of the fruit itself are actually spots. So even though it sounds kind of crazy, Vegapunk could be a perfectionist to the point where he's like, yo, listen, man, it's a failure because I wanted swirls. I don't have swirls. I'm kind of pissed at this. It's a failure. Don't touch it. It's garbage. He could be a perfectionist like that and be like, nah, man. Like, even though it works just fine, and even though you have Kaido's abilities now, you have the Ui Ui no Mi abilities, the swirls. Nah, that's cap.
That's cap!
Vegapunk could be like that. He could be. Now also though, before I forget, I do wonder what role that's going to play in terms of Kaido and Momonosuke meeting when Momonosuke is in dragon form. How will Kaido react to Momonosuke in dragon form? And I theorize that can influence Kaido in a big way. But that being said, if Vegapunk said the fruit was a failure, and in his mind it was because it had no swirls, then Momonosuke has Kaido's powers potentially in full. In the future, let's say a two-piece, and Momo's the main character, Momo could be coming out like Kaido. For real. That would be kind of crazy. This also means that Vegapunk could be really, really close in terms of intellect and technological ability to the ancient kingdom of yore during the Void Century and before the Void Century. So I have a theory a very old theory that I made years ago, that the devil fruits themselves, as those ancient weapons, were created by the ancient kingdom of yore, like a millennia ago. They made the devil fruits, they made the weapons. Because a lot of folks say that the devil fruits themselves are magic, but the problem is that magic does not exist in One Piece. Nothing in the world of One Piece can be explained by magic. Nothing. Technology, hockey, spirit/soul, technique, these things are the foundation of every power pool that exists in One Piece. There is no magic. There is no magic. So, if Vegapunk can make something akin to Kaido's fruit, but it lacks a few details here or there, then his intellect, I think, could be the closest thing to those people way back when, a millennia ago. And then finally, there have been a lot of theories about Vegapunk and his ties to the Revolutionary Army and Monkey D. Dragon, and of course Kuma, and how Pacifista initiate Order 66, and all of a sudden there's a rebellion of the Pacifista, then the Marines, and what's going on. Vegapunk's plan all along, coordinated with Monkey D. Dragon, and so on and so forth. The fact that Vegapunk said no to the world government, and he said it was a failure, this kind of fortifies that as well, where Vegapunk could genuinely be, like incognito mode, a member of the Revolutionary Army and or is against the world government itself and the Marines. So that also bolsters that as well. So that being said, guys and gals, Dr. Vegapunk, Momonosuke, the artificial devil fruit. Artificial, true. However, does it have the same capabilities as the real deal? And based on the head, let's call him the head, of CP0, I think maybe there is. Genuinely so. Genuinely so. Because in this sense, based on my theory, for the Ancient Kingdom, all devil fruits were done artificially, through science, through technology. In the world of One Piece, you can do a lot with technology and science. You can do a lot. And Vegapunk could be really on the precipice of achieving what these guys could 1,000 years ago. But let me know your stance on the subject matter at hand. Be sure to rate the video. It is not that hard to do because I guarantee you all, you have a device called Zamaosu. You use Zamaosu to click, again, rate the video, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna see y'all later. Be safe, take it easy, have a nice one.